Today is a successful day for the HIMARS rocket artillery team. Together with aerial reconnaissance, they will launch a series of missile strikes and destroy numerous Russian artillery systems. But before that, I want to show you how successfully Ukrainian forces destroy Russian tanks. There was a shootout near the Kherson Bridge between Ukrainian and Russian forces. The Russians sent a tank against the Ukrainians to destroy a machine gun nest, but the tank managed to fire only one shot. Then, the Ukrainians delivered a precise strike on it with an FPV drone. In fear, the crew of the Russian tank lost control and veered into a ditch, hitting an electric pole. The crew abandoned the tank and fled. Ukrainians have realized that it is much cheaper to destroy Russian armored vehicles using small FPV drones rather than using expensive Javelin missiles. This Russian armored transporter was disabled by an FPV drone, and then another grenade was thrown at it. As a result, it exploded and was destroyed. The crew of this armored transporter, upon seeing the drone, decided to turn back but hit a mine and exploded. The Russians are getting a persistent fear of Ukrainian drones. Destroying a tank with a Javelin missile may look epic, but it cost at least $80,000. An FPV drone cost around $500. Here's an example of how this tactic works. An FPV drone disabled a Russian tank from behind. Of course, the tank is not destroyed, but it is damaged. We see how the Russians abandoned this tank. And then the Ukrainians finished it off by dropping a grenade on it. Typically, such tanks are no longer usable. Later on, these tanks can still be used for spare parts for Ukrainian tanks if they haven't been completely burned out. Shortly after, the Ukrainians conducted a successful operation in the same location on the Dnieper River. Using a reconnaissance drone, the Ukrainian Coast Guard spotted a Russian sabotage group attempting to infiltrate an island and set up an observation post. Ukrainian military forces suddenly appeared at the right place at high speed. 2 Ukrainian military boats were dispatched to eliminate the Russian observation post. The Russians opened fire with small arms first, but were suppressed by the heavy machine guns mounted on the Ukrainian boats. The Ukrainians fired from both boats at different angles. As a result, the Russians were eliminated and the boats retreated and hid in ambush. After some time, the Russians sent their boat for support, but from the ambush, Ukrainian forces struck the boat with an FPV drone. The boat was damaged. The Russians sent another boat to tow it, but during the towing operation, the Ukrainians launched another drone and struck the second boat. As a result, both Russians began to swim to save themselves. But let's get back to the HIMARS rocket artillery system. The HIMARS operator group, along with aerial reconnaissance, set out on a mission. Their objective is to destroy enemy artillery. The first target was the Russian Ukrainian multiple rocket launcher. After the missile strike, it caught fire until it became inoperable. Another Ukrainian was discovered off the edge of the forest and also destroyed. Next, a Grad BM-21 launcher was spotted near an ammunition depot. Russian artillerymen were loading their Grad rocket system. But luck was not on their side today as they were detected, and the coordinates were relayed to the HIMARS crew. Just one rocket turned the location into hell. Ammunition started exploding, and the Grad launcher was destroyed. The Russian artillerymen were assigned to shell Ukrainian positions with the heavy Tornado S multiple rocket launcher. They took positions between the trees, and one of the launchers managed to launch a rocket strike. However, Ukrainian reconnaissance immediately detected them and delivered a precise strike. The first Tornado S launcher started exploding as its rockets began to fly uncontrollably, but the second launcher managed to leave the position in time and avoided destruction. We can see the Ukrainian projectile landing precisely where the Russians were, albeit with a slight delay. Next, the Russian Buk air defense system was discovered among the trees. With a precise hit from a HIMARS missile, it was destroyed. Look at the fireworks and how its projectiles detonate. By the way, Russian anti-aircraft missile systems sometimes attempt to shoot down even small reconnaissance drones. In this video, we see a missile miss and fly past the drone. They don't hesitate to use expensive missiles as Ukrainian reconnaissance guides the HIMARS missiles using these drones. Next, a very valuable exhibit was spotted, the RB-301 electronic warfare complex. A HIMARS missile turned it into unusable scrap metal. Another Grad launcher was also destroyed nearby. 2 more Grad BM-21 launchers were discovered in the bushes at another location. Unfortunately, the first rocket did not destroy the Grad launcher, possibly due to imprecise coordinates, but the second rocket launcher burned the second Grad launcher. Soon, another Grad launcher was discovered and destroyed. Then, a large caliber artillery installation was detected and also destroyed by a HIMARS missile. It burned along with its ammunition. By the way, did you notice this truck? These trucks deliver ammunition to the artillerymen. We have a video where one of these Russian trucks detonates on a mine along with its cargo. And reconnaissance spotted a Russian logistics convoy. Several HIMARS rockets were launched at it, and the convoy was completely incinerated. Reconnaissance discovered another Uragan multiple rocket launcher. The Russians were preparing to launch their rockets, but the HIMARS missile beat them to it. The guys didn't even have time to run away. And nearby, scouts found another Uragan multiple rocket launcher and delivered a precise strike to it. And then another 2S-19 self-propelled howitzer was destroyed. And finally, several field ammunition depots were destroyed. It was a very successful day. In counter-battery warfare, Ukrainian forces have achieved a high level of skill. The success of the Ukrainian army have become so significant that the Russian high-ranking general, Ivan Popov, commanding the 58th Army, publicly recognized it and criticized the Russian army's general staff. For this, he was fired. But the next day, videos appeared from ordinary Russian soldiers echoing the сame sentiment.
Я замком взвод. У меня 5 расчетов. 72-я бригада. Самое говно.
The leadership of the Russian army provides very poor support to its troops.
Припасы. Дайте техники. Чем, блядь, молодых сюда посылайте, молодняк. Люди гибнут просто так здесь.
We will continue to show you the most interesting moments from the Ukrainian front. So subscribe not to miss new episodes. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to let us know by giving it a like.